Welcome to Cafe Grit. My name is Beth Campbell, and I am the author of Where the Hell is My Bacon?, a book about a corporate team that triumphed over shitty leadership with the help of fried pork. I open Cafe Grit as a place where you can join me in figuring out how to channel your grit and find your voice in the world, whatever that means for you. This is the place to go when you've got the hankering for purpose, the taste for fulfillment, and you're tired of living the rat race. Thanks for stopping in. Cafe Grit is now open for service. Hey everybody, welcome to Cafe Grit. I am your host, Beth Campbell. This is a place to go when you've got a hankering for purpose, a taste for fulfillment, and you are tired of living the rat race. Thanks everybody for joining today. I have a special guest in the grit seat. You all know how I love to have my guests, and this is a great one. She calls herself the Queen Coach, and she is a coach. She is also an astrologer, a therapist. She speaks 4 languages. Yes, that's 4. She has overcome physical challenges. She's an entrepreneur. She sings opera. She's also the creator of the course Classy Vintage Mastery, which inspired me to embrace secondhand clothing. And her name might be familiar to you because I did a full podcast about her not long ago. Please welcome my friend, Stella Scott. Stella, welcome. So good
Thank
to
you
have you here.
so much. I just love being here, and yeah, it's an honor.
It's been an honor and so fun collaborating with you. I want to talk first, if you don't mind. I want to jump right in because I think you're the only person that I know who has their own app. You have an app out
Yes,
called
yes.
Cosmic Strategies. Can you tell us a little bit about what is Cosmic Strategy? We're going to talk a lot about Cosmic Strategies and others, but tell us a little bit what this app is all about and what the whole concept is about.
Well, it started out, the thought of it was introduced to me last fall. I mean, of having your own app. And I have always been early with stuff. I was the second opera singer in Sweden to have her own webpage.
No kidding.
Yeah, I was the first woman because the first one was a man.
Well, even better.
I was really early with having what's it called? It's called the newsletters, and I mean I've always it's sort of like ahead of my time, and so this came up, and I was talking to my best friend, and I said, "Well, what do you think? Should I do it or should I not?" And she said, "It's going to be different." I said, "Yeah, it's going to be
Yeah.
different. It's going to be all about me."
Which is
So
good, which is good.
and so I decided to jump and do this, and it's been so the platform is not actually mine, but the work on what I put out there, and the reason I wanted to do it under this umbrella is I was hacked some years ago.
Oh, ouch.
I
Uh,
lost everything, hundreds of blog posts, 3 different sites, membership sites, uh, course sites. I mean, I lost everything. It was
oh,
it was horrendous.
and never got it back?
I never got it back, and
Oh,
I'm still
wow.
recouping emotionally
Wow.
from this. So what happens here is that I will have a protection through this under this umbrella, but it's
Yeah.
all mine. And
Awesome. That's awesome.
some old content that I have produced like 10 years ago can still go in under this umbrella. And some years ago, 4 years ago, I turned astrologer. That's the short story. And with this idea of doing astrology and presenting astrology to people, not teaching astrology, but actually teaching people how it works. How come, as an astrologer, you can see and understand certain things of someone you've never met before?
It
How
is
can I
fascinating.
see some things about parents or living or teenage trauma or moving to other countries? How can I say, how is it even possible? So what have done is that I created cosmic strategies on LinkedIn as live sense for people to get some kind of feel about how astrology works, not to turn people into astrologers.
Yeah.
And then when I was working on the app, because I had to give it a name, it had another name in the beginning, just as like, something you work with. And then I realized, but this is it. It's the cosmic strategies. It's the personal development, that's strategy. It's astrology. It's the cosmos. It's singing. It's moving forward, it's being an entrepreneur. I could put anything.
It's like you, well, it is a representation of you and all of the things that you have done. And that's why I love it because it is so unique. And I know it is new. It is evolving and people are not just now discovering it. And I hope more people do because it's just so refreshing to have a community, a place of community where this is a place where when I just even look at, some of the content, it feels like more of a place where souls come versus, shells of people like, oh, I'm gonna, go and network or whatever. It's there's but it encompasses so much as well. Like you said, the astrology, it is entrepreneurship, it is guiding people to fulfillment. I mean, there's just so much about it. What are some of the things that
You.
are, well, your class too, which we'll talk about in a minute. What type of person do you think would love cosmic strategies? What is your, when you envision the people coming into this course, or I'm sorry, into this app, other than myself, what is the type of person that might be interested in seeking?
My the women I have worked with, because it's mainly women, the women I have worked with are women in leadership positions, frequently corporate, but it could also be teachers. These are women that have a vision of something and frequently want something else, something different. They want to move out of something into something else. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they want to move out of corporate, but they want to use it in
But
a
they
different way.
probably do. They probably
But
do.
you're the pro because
Just,
I
I
know
mean,
nothing about corporate.
just
I've
no,
never been
I'm
in
kidding.
corporate. And I think that is one of my I think that's a good thing. If you come from corporate and you come to me, I come with a completely fresh perspective because I've never, ever, ever been there. But I have been through personal development and crisis and maybe the relationship to the body, all kinds of things
Yeah.
that where we can relate. But what I think is important is that when these people, women, come to me, it's because they want to evolve. They want to move into something else. And I
And
can
that's so
offer,
ubiquitous, right? That is so across the board. Yes, that
yeah,
happened to me in corporate, but I'm not in corporate and I still have those feelings. I want to
yes.
find a greater fulfillment. I want to find a greater purpose. I want to, evolve as a person and find, my purpose, my mission in life. And I think whether you're a leader in a formal sense or you're just a leadership mentality,
Mhm.
I think you're dead on. That's exactly. Yay.
I really like that leadership mentality. That's exactly
Yeah, because
it.
you could have a stay-at-home parent or
Totally.
a grandparent or whatever, entrepreneur or somebody who, a writer, a cop, whatever. You can have a leadership mentality without having a title. In fact, many people with titles, I would not want to come to this app because I don't think that they are looking to evolve. So yeah, I think many people with leadership titles are probably not the type of person who are, open to evolving. So you don't have to have a title or be formally in some sort of leadership position. You're a badass. You're a badass who wants to
Yeah.
evolve. And
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, totally. It's something about breaking your own rules, breaking out of the norm, and not being just feel that I cannot be contained in this container anymore.
oh,
Enough is
love that. Yeah. Oh, it's giving me chills, Stella. Just
enough.
that. And if anybody's out there and you're not having those feelings, but you want to, I mean, we're the people to look up, and this is the app to
Yeah.
look up. This is I sometimes, of my journey of late where I've felt this sort of euphoria and just this strength. And then sometimes not, right? We all have days. But I just sometimes I wish that every woman, every person could have those feelings of at least wanting to, have that just get out and evolve and grow and be amazing. And I know sometimes when people don't because it's difficult, but
Yeah, it requires courage
yeah,
because not everyone is going to be happy that you move out of that box. A lot of people are going to be frustrated and challenged because when you rock your own boat, that means that the waters are being rocked all over the place.
yeah,
And don't like that. So when I change, some people say, "Oh, you become so selfish. You only think
No.
about your life. Why have you changed? What's going on? I mean, these are things that people get to hear when people start to include themselves in their own lives, especially women, I would say, because
Yeah,
we are always supposed to sacrifice for someone else,
sure.
and someone else is always more important. It's like children and husbands or partners or parents or anyone else is more
Oh,
important.
yeah.
And that image of yourself needs to be moved to the side, and you have to put yourself in your own center, because that way you will be a
Always.
role model for everyone else. And then I would say, I don't have children.
Absolutely.
I would say, and I worked with a lot of mothers, that when you do that, you become a real role model for your children.
Oh, absolutely. Do you think that because I know we all have experienced that where when we start taking care of ourselves and making ourselves number one and pursuing our dreams, we have a lot of people that are supportive, but sometimes we have people that are either directly or covertly or indirectly not supportive and sometimes even sabotaging. For those people, I mean, do you think that that comes
Mhm.
from a place of insecurity for the people that are threatened or, want to sometimes bring us down if we're thriving? I feel like it comes from an insecurity if people are, you know, because when you say people will accuse you of being full of yourself, I don't. I mean, you have never exuded anything like that, and I don't think I have either. It's more when you have success and when you are finding your fulfillment, sometimes it's difficult for other people who are not in that mindset yet. And I think sometimes that comes out. So it's not that we're full of
Absolutely.
ourselves. It's just that we're making ourselves number one.
Yeah, I think it's partially a question of fear,
Yeah.
and that your way of handling life is threatened.
Yeah.
If I do this, if I live like this in my box and she doesn't, perhaps there's something about my box that is not so. I don't want to see that.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
don't want to be close to someone doing something that I deeply long for.
It is shedding a light on what I am not in my
Yeah.
head, not accomplishing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's,
And I do think that everyone, and I mean no exception, no, I don't care about gender, no exception. If you're not living in accordance with your own, let's say, chart, because your astrological chart
mhm.
says something about you, and it says something about your journey and what you have, challenges that will come, and your awesomeness, talents that you might be putting aside. And those talents will sooner or later come up and say, hey, 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 now wait a second. And the midlife crisis, I did a whole live send on cosmic strategies on LinkedIn about that. The midlife crisis, you can see it clearly in your chart. It always comes up between 40 and 60.
Really?
In,
Okay.
yes, in that period, it shows up because there are certain planets that move into certain positions. And if you are one of those that dare to move with that and go with what the planets, your chart is telling you, and someone observes you that doesn't dare to do that, it becomes so frustrating for the other
Yeah.
person.
Hmm.
That this goes for everybody. It doesn't matter. Gender is so, because we all have a midlife upheaval, if I put it that way.
Hmm.
And you can see it with men, and you can see it with women, and you can see it with anyone in between, no matter how you want to define yourself. We all have it. And what I found so interesting when I started studying astrology is that you can see that in the chart.
It's amazing. I
Yeah.
believe it, Stella, because you did my chart and we just had a very brief overview and I was very astounded. By the way, you had mentioned that I needed more fire in my life. And of course, I always have my candles lit.
Love it.
Not only do they bring that fire element that I am a little bit lacking in my general in my houses, but it is just makes my office smell lovely. So it's a bonus. But so what is your when you think of like your long term in quotes vision, because long term could be 3 months, it could be 30 years. What is your long-term
Mhm.
vision for cosmic strategies? What is your vision for what that will be?
Wow, that is such a good question. Wow, I have to think about that one.
Well, not to put you on the spot, but it is something to think about, right? To think
Yes,
about
absolutely.
where do you want it to end up? Be.
I'm glad you're asking because I have been so focused on just creating this thing and what is possible to do. And now it's been out in the open for not even 4 weeks.
I know it's a baby.
It's a baby. It's totally a baby. And and what do I want for this? I want this to be a place where people feel welcomed and that they can really use it for their own development. To, that it's going to be a place where they like come back and say, "Oh, I'm going to check here." I hope that people will like use the toggle and get the uh, push notifications so they will get see when things are coming up. There's so many things that will happen with it, like cosmic updates. And
Oh,
there I will share some things that has to do with what is going on in the skies in the cosmos now. The first one I did was about the full moon in Capricorn last week.
I saw that.
So
Yeah.
things like that, that's one of the things. I will add females that have gone before us. So where can we find inspiration? Like Clara Schumann, who was an amazing pianist. Nobody knows about her today. Or we have philosophers and as people that has really done a lot of things. The first
Yeah.
novel ever written was written by a Japanese woman, like I don't know, no, centuries ago, and we
No
don't even know.
kidding.
I mean, this is one of the things that I want to add, so like people can feel like inspired, and so women get like a grip on our history.
Yeah.
Because we have a history that is there. And I just read this awesome book. I don't remember the author right now, and she was talking about one of the problems with for women is that we have been so confined that it has not been possible for us to create history. So what I want to do is that take the little we have and put it forward. Not pretend that it's that we have more people than we do, but if we get to understand that, well, we all know about Mozart. Everybody has heard that name. Mozart
Mhm.
happened to have a sister. Her name was Nanna, and she was a prodigy, a genius, perhaps even more than her brother.
No kidding.
But we don't know about her. And why do we don't we know anything about her? Because she was forced to be a little girl, a
Yeah.
little woman. And all these things that made it impossible for her while her brother was moved along. Uh, we have back to classical music again, Fanny Hensel. She was the sister of Felix Mendelssohn. And he is like one of the big ones.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
when people look at his at her production of what she actually created, people say she was a bigger genius than her brother.
And yet we don't know her. We don't,
And
no one's
yet,
ever heard of her. This is a
yeah,
story that is up even really up until, well, probably up until maybe even going backwards a little in the last few years here, but certainly up until the 70s, that was the norm. I mean, in the
yes,
70s, here in the States, you couldn't get a credit card without your husband's permission. You couldn't,
exactly.
it's so it's are we surprised that there are so many women that have been so accomplished or could have been so accomplished, but we're
Yeah.
not. So it is,
And
and I
also
think,
when they go on.
well, as I say, I think it also underscores that false narrative of of the patriarchy that everything is, we still have these biases where we think that men are authority and men, know more. And a lot of people do still, even in this day and age. And I think those are the kinds of things, not only were they in the limelight, but the women that should have been in the limelight to provide that equity and that we just weren't because they were not allowed to be. So I think
Yeah.
it's very important, I think, to know that history.
So that is one thing that I want the cosmic strategies to be part of that narrative. to tell that story, and so that it's like going to be like inspirational. So I want the inspiration or the capacity to move forward to come in many different layers and ways. So uh, female feminist history is one, astrology is one, uh, being conscious about who am I, relationship to my body, daring to be visible. Is it there? And so,
Oh,
and I really feel like
I love that. You know, I love that.
yeah, the term cosmic strategies just makes me happy. I mean, it's just like that's it, because it's so vast and big, and I'm a very spiritual person, and I don't like religion because religion is dogma,
Nor
and
I.
it tells you who's going to believe what in what way, and
Right.
all the old religions are based in patriarchy.
100%. Yep.
And if you don't like that, and say, oh, well, then cosmic strategies is not for you.
Right. Well, I love it. It's so many things. I love that kind of the culmination is inspiring women and bringing women together through many things. Community, you have courses, which I hope we're going to talk about next.
Yeah.
You know, the astrology, the courses, the community, the inspiration, the history. So where before we move on, because I would love to start talking about a few other things, because you've such a we have such a great relationship in history, and you have such a great history. Um, just real quick, because I'll put your stuff in the show notes, and I will, of course, we'll talk about it at the end. But if someone is wanting to look into cosmic strategies, what is the best way? Is it to going to the App Store and simply
Yeah.
downloading
If
cosmic
if
strategies?
you are an Apple person, you go into the store and you can just search for cosmic strategies and it comes up right away. I'm not a Google Play person. I don't know about Android, how it works, but when I have searched, it has not come up. Perhaps it does now, because I also know that sometimes things are delayed and it takes time, but I can't find it. But if you put in the show notes, if you put the links there,
I'll put the links, and what I'll also do is I'll put you have a lovely QR code with a custom. I'll put that right up here
perfect,
in the video. So if you're watching the video, you
perfect.
can just get your
Yeah,
phones
and
ready.
then right, and then you will just end up there right away. And then when you download it, you can just download it and like check out some stuff. And there will be, if you don't create your own account, you will still be able to see like new things, because I will upload things, and I will have contributors too that will upload their
Awesome.
things. Yeah, and then when you decided, okay, I think I want my own account, you will get a small gift, which is a PDF of 3 things that your sun sign, because most people know their sun sign. Your sun sign can help you elevate your self-love.
Awesome.
So when you download it, you will see it. So there will be like a red bar by the bottom, and it says to download the free gift, and you will get it. But you only can do that on the app. Because what's also incredible about the app is that it has a companion site that is on the web.
Yes. Yes. And that's how I first was introduced through
Yeah.
one of your courses. Yeah.
So,
So never
so I
fear,
think that's very
desktop
practical.
users. You can still pull it up on, you can
Yep.
still get some of the
Yeah.
material online.
Unfortunately, you cannot get the free gift that way. I've really tried to like get some way, but it just doesn't show. So
Yeah.
it sometimes you just have to like give up with technology and like, okay, I surrender. But if you have a mobile unit, and most people do, you can get it that way.
Awesome. And I will just say, for those of you who are able to go out and get this app and immerse yourself, leave a nice review for Stella. That this always helps to spread the word.
Oh,
So yeah, it's
thank
I
you.
know as a book author and as a podcaster, especially podcasts, because people just don't think, oh, I can leave a yes, and you can leave it's just the same with apps. People just don't think unless they have a problem, like when my whatever my phone thing breaks out. But it's a great app, and once you immerse yourself, please leave a review. I know one of the things that is showing in the way I got introduced to online before the app came out to Cosmic Strategies was through your course, Classy Vintage Mastery, which is, did I see that is now coming up for another, are you starting a new session in July for?
Yes. My
Okay.
my intention is 15th, Monday, the 15th of July to start a new
Okay. Awesome.
class.
So, if for my listeners out there, if you are a regular listener, you probably heard me go on at length about this awesome course in my podcast. So I won't repeat all of that, but I will just to say that I Classy Vintage Mastery is think of it as it really is exploring your relationship with clothing, not only your style, but also your impact and how you take care of your clothing and how your clothing impacts the world. It was really so much more than I thought. And as I have said many times, and Stella has heard me say this, I am almost 100% thrift. I have not bought anything new in, I don't know, months and don't plan to, other than, underwear and shoes are the two things that
Mhm.
I do have a line with underwear, with used underwear, but, you know,
So do I. Yes.
yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, today, if you're on video, if you're not, I'm sorry, but today you can't really see. I have this lovely little fiery orange thing that I bought for $5 just this week. So I'm at a thrift store. But if you are really looking to explore your relationship with clothing, I highly recommended this course. It's 6 weeks. It is a minimal investment in your time. It's a 1 hour-ish call or recording if you can't make the call, and some activities that are, I think, were so fun, and it will really open your eyes. So I don't know if you wanted to say anything more about that, Stella, but I cannot say enough about this course. It really did kind of change my life, and it was very serendipitous timing for me. I really think it was kind of like this catalyst that sort of boosted me to just again put myself out there and not hide under drab and just which was kind of what I was doing. I really didn't put a whole lot of thought into clothing because I really just didn't I wasn't feeling myself being put out there, and it just I took your class, and that was sort of like kick-started this whole change in my life of just really taking a chance and really just bringing my full self, color and all, to whatever I do. And it's been amazing. So thank you for that. And everybody, please look up this class. It's amazing.
Thank you. Do I need to say anything more?
So
No,
what?
what I do want to add, or
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, is that when I have been thrift shopping, vintage dressing all of my life. So I'm 65 and I started when I was 15, or perhaps even earlier because I was like thrift shopping in my grandmother's
yeah,
wardrobe when I was a kid. Yeah.
yeah. I probably did too. My mother was a
Yeah.
clothes hoarder, and so we often shopped in her closet. So
Right, right. So that's awesome. But I started to go to thrift stores very early because there were certain things that I really liked. And since I grew up in the 60s, that fashion didn't suit me. I liked the 40s and the 30s. That was like more my style. And while I was doing that, I realized also that there are so many good looking and well done things that no one is using. I thought it was like, this is like weird. Why aren't we using this? So I've done this all of my life. And then I came to a point where I realized that people find it sort of shameful,
yes.
especially women in corporate, especially
Oh,
women in some
yes.
kind of leadership position. It's not it's not considered to be fashionable or
Yeah.
stylish, and
It's
it
beneath them in
smells
some way
bad,
because,
and it's
yeah,
right, it's poor,
yeah,
it means you don't have the money, that your status, all of these
yes,
things. And I thought,
yes.
okay, we need to change this. And then in 2018 I did a thrift, what did I call it, classy thrift challenge in a Facebook group that I was running for women in, yeah, females in leadership positions. And one of the women, they said, this changed my life. And this was a 5-day challenge. This was like nothing of what you went through. And she said, it changed my life. I was like, oh, you have to make this into a complete course. And then other people said the same thing. It should be a real course. I mean, just dig into it. And then with this app, I got what is it, a course on course making showed up, and they said, so what is your course going to be about? And I was like, ooh, I think I actually know. I had already created a course for people with chronic sleep issues, but I wanted something that was a little lighter for this particular thing. So I think I'm going to do the course now, because on the app there is a whole section that where you can create courses. It's like such a big platform. It's
That's
really,
awesome.
it's more than an app. It's a platform.
Yeah.
There's just so many things that can be there. Like, oh, I'm not even good. And
She's so excited. She
there's
can't
so many things I
contain it.
want to say. It's like coming out of my ears, and I
I
don't know
love
what.
it. I love it. Energy.
Yeah. So, anyways, so therefore, I decided to create this course. So when you came along, and I just decided that I'm just going to ask people. So we have been connected on LinkedIn for several years, but we hadn't
Yeah,
really
we hadn't
been.
really interacted a whole lot. Yeah. I
No,
mean, I
we
knew
had a lot
you
of
and but
mutual
yeah.
connections, but we were like, So I thought, just throw it out to some people that seemed like nice, because you had shown interest in my astrology
Yeah.
uh, things. And I had done one on style and one on personal branding, and how you can like use astrology for that. So I sent it to these women mainly and said, do you want to be part of this? And then five of you said yes. And that is how it came about. This whole the course, the class, and I learned also what what should I do? How should I do this? And the course create the one who said like create a course was really good in saying something that I believe in 100%, and I live and swear by it, which is just do,
I it's
just do.
it really, as I've said over and over and again, it really has changed my life. And it's not only it's such a plus plus win 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 because not only am I it's like a treasure hunt for me when I go shopping now, which I love. I am not negatively impacting the environment, which if you're out there thinking, well, it's just clothing, take this course and you'll be enlightened as to what the impact of your clothing really is. And for anybody who is out there, I've heard people say, ew, it's used clothing. If you knew what was in your new clothing and what your new clothing went through, you probably wouldn't say ew. It's called, clean it when before you wear it. It's not a big deal. It's not ew. It's like as your course said, it's like a gift. I look at it like a gift from someone else that they're giving me.
Yeah,
But the
absolutely.
other thing too is it's really as a person, especially in the US, we are very throwaway. We are very instant gratification. I think really the world is getting to an instant gratification point because we couldn't get anything in a day on Amazon or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And it really has taught me patience because I will have a thought of, oh, I really need, when I was looking for red, I wanted a red scarf, right? I'm not wearing it today, but I was really looking for a light red, a light material red scarf to bring that fire into my life. I could have gone out on Amazon and bought it. I could have gone out on any number of websites or in some new store and found and searched for and found. And I said, I'm not going to do that. It was a little manifestation uh, game on my part, but it was also patience that I said it will come. I will find what I need, whatever it is that I need, and I always do. So it's kind of like a win-win-win of the environment and it's fun and but it's also teaching me to be more patient. So
Right.
just
That's
convincing.
that's a very good point. So the thing with, because we've been talking a lot about environment, the thing with having a new mindset about it creates a completely different, how should I say, let's say attitude
Yeah.
towards how you dress and what it means to shop.
For
What?
everything, not even just
Yes.
clothing. This
No,
is
exactly that.
very much rolled over into other parts of my life where I'm thinking, could I get that used? Could I,
Yes.
if it's something that I think I could find, and there are many things that I do I need a new puzzle. I'm a big jigsaw puzzle person.
Oh, so
They're
am I,
ex
so am
oh yay.
I.
They're expensive here. Sometimes you'll pay for a good puzzle, $20, $25.
Yeah.
And so that's another area where I've said no. Go to the antique store. They've got a whole book section with a room full of puzzles. This thrift store has a big stock. So it is definitely rolled over into other areas of my life. So,
Love that. Love that.
you know what else I love, Stella, is I hope that you're okay that I say this because you did put something out on LinkedIn, but you just recently, last month, or maybe it's this month, earlier this month, you turned 65.
Yes.
And I love that because if anybody is listening to this and you cannot hear the energy or cannot see, if you're watching on video, the energy, you are a walking, talking, living example of you're never too old. I mean, you're 65. You just started your own app. You were talking about your course that you did in 2018, the precursor to the Classy Vintage Mastery. You're in your 50s when you did your late 50s. I mean, if there's anybody out there, especially you women, because we take this so to heart about I'm too old and we feel it. I had a career coaching client just this week who was feeling being treated differently, and that is a reality. But you don't have to accept. You're
Mm,
not over the hill. You are learning new things. So there's this, the idea that, well, we're too old to learn. Bullshit. You're learning
mm.
new things, you're starting new things. You are going full on at an age where, maybe when I was back in my 20s, I would have looked at my own grandmother and said, that's 65. That's Now I look at you and I think that's 65. Yes, it's like yes. So
Yeah.
I love it. You're just such a great role model for anybody whose age starts with a 4 or a 5 or a 6 or a 7 to or more, and to just to know that, ladies, people, it ain't over. You
No.
you can do whatever the hell you want, and you do, and I love that about you. That's probably my favorite thing, is that you are just taking the world on, just authentically and with energy, and failure, great, pick up, move on, do something else. This doesn't work, tweak it, whatever. I love it. It's just amazing, truly amazing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, Stella, I want to be cognizant of time here. Thank you so much for all of the conversation, the collaboration. Thank you for being in the grit seat. Everybody out there, go out and download the Cosmic Vintage, or sorry, the Cosmic Strategies from the App Store. Look up the Cosmic Vintage Mastery. Hook up with Stella. I will put all your information on in the show notes. Please go look her up, follow her. She's got so much great information. Sign up for the courses. And then any final words? Is there anything that we missed that you want to throw out there, Stella? I want to make sure.
Not really, but usually when I'm in this seat and I've done all kinds of podcast interviews on from different angles. And if you go to LinkedIn and look at my banner there, it says not, there's nothing wrong with you. And that is um it's my mission, in a way,
I love it.
to help people understand that whatever you have with you in your story, in your history, whatever has been pushing you down, squashing you, making you feel that you don't matter, that you don't have enough value, all imposter syndromes, whatever that is, all of that is some kind of survival mechanism.
Mm,
What we have not mentioned today is that I am a Gestalt therapist, and I have been working as a therapist and a coach for 30 years. And I have a lot of experience of working with people with deep, deep, deep trauma,
yeah.
all kinds of abuse, incest, whatever.
Mm,
And that has taught me that we do not ever do anything against ourselves because we just try to survive. And sometimes it looks like and turns into something that is like self-destructive, but it's not really. It's just a way to cope with something that is uncopable.
right.
And then it looks like self-destructive behavior, but there's nothing wrong with you. That is what I want to say.
There is nothing wrong with you. I love it. Thank you so much, Stella. And thanks to everybody out there for listening. And don't forget, you, like Stella here, are a badass. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Take it easy. Bye
Thank
now.
you.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for stopping by Cafe Grit, where the moxie is fresh, the passion cold brewed, and everything is served with a heaping side of mojo. For more Cafe Grit episodes, please check out bethancampbell.com/cafegrit. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider giving it a rating or review on YouTube, Buzzsprout, or your favorite streaming platform. I'll be forever grateful, and in return, I'll wish upon you copious amounts of bacon, your favorite hot beverage, and of course, pie. I'd love to connect and hear about your grit experiences as well. Please go to bethancampbell.com for links to all my social media. Cafe Grit is a product of Beth Ann Campbell, LLC, all rights reserved. Thanks again, and remember, you are a badass. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Take it easy.